Welcome. This is week 4 of the microeconomics course. This week, hopefully you completed all the work for week 3 and everything is going well. And again, if you have any questions, you can ask me. But this week, after we did supply demand last week, we covered a very important concept. The concept is called elasticity. Elasticity, which seems like whatever the heck that means if you never heard of the term, the idea is pretty simple. So if you remember, in demand, we examine how much consumers change the willingness to purchase something as the price changes, right? So that's why you have the demand curve, which is negatively sloped. That means, generally speaking, as the prices go up, consumers demand less, and so on. And the opposite is also true. But elasticity is actually a way to measure how much less or how much more. So how much consumer behavior changes as prices of something else changes. So that can be adapted to many other measures. You could think about income. If incomes goes up, what happens to the consumption of certain goods and how that affects, or prices of other goods. If the price of, I don't know, bread goes up, what happens to the consumption of rice? There are kind of substitutes and stuff like that. So elasticity, it's very, very important. Whether you're an economist and you want to understand how certain policies, will affect behavior, and if you decide to make some changes, what happens in the economy, or whether you work for a business. If you're in business, you want to know if you change the price, what effect will it have on your consumers, so how much more or less you will sell. You want to have a way to estimate that. Okay, so this chapter talks about that. So first thing you need to do, like every week, is watch the video. Well, I'll just tell you briefly what's due this week. And then you want to go to coursework again. Coursework, now we go to week 4. Week 4, we cover this, elasticity, why it's important, and understanding all this aspect of elasticity. And again, you have connect assignments due, and you have a discussion board post. So this week for the discussion board post, I'll explain what that is after I tell you very briefly about elasticity. But when you go in here, you will see again, there are assignments, there are readings, and there are the chapter PowerPoint. So you want to start from reading the chapter, looking at the PowerPoint. The discussion board this week will have to do with one of the readings. Actually, you can also choose another one, but one of the readings. Okay, so I'll show you in a moment. First, let me go and show you PowerPoint for a moment. So remember, we discussed the fact, sorry, here, I'm moving forward too much. Where is the graph? Okay, here remember is the demand. You have price, quantity, and demand shows the negative relationship between the price and the quantity demanded of a good. But now we want to measure some. So you say you have 2 points. I think there's a graph somewhere here. Say there are 2 points, and the 2 points are, should be a graph here. Okay, so there is a point here, like at this price, you see that people demand this quantity. Price decreases of this amount, and you will see here that the quantity demanded increase. People buy more of your stuff, or in the market buy more because the price is lower, and now it's relatively cheaper to buy this thing than the other. What this tells us, right, that there is this negative relationship, but you can actually measure that. And the way to do that is to look at percentage changes. Okay, so when you look at the price going from this P minus delta P, you can put whatever price, 5 to 4, you have a change, $1, and quantity, say, goes up from 120 to 200, whatever. You have a change of 80. Now, these absolute values don't really mean much, because a dollar change can mean a different thing if you start from $1 million. A dollar change is almost nothing, but if you start from 1, a dollar change is doubling the price, right? And so what you want to look is at percentage changes. And so this chapter explains how the actual formula for elasticity is percentage change in quantity over percentage change in price. And the way the percentage is calculated is by using this formula here, which you can have time to see. But the main idea, you want to measure how much the quantity changes on top, divided by how much the price has changed in percentage terms, right? So if something goes up, price goes up 10%, and you sell 30% more, that means there's a lot of reaction. For a specific change in price, 10%, which could be a lot, not depending, but you get 30% more sales. So people react way more, and that would be called elastic. And the opposite is true in elastic if the percentage change for quantity is lower than percentage change in price. So that gives you a breakout value, point value of 1. When 1, it means the two vary the same, change percent, 10% change in price, increase, say 10% decrease in quantity demanded, that would be 1 because they have the same value. But most of the time that's not the case. It's either people react a lot, more than 1 elastic, or not much, less than 1 inelastic. And so this is, you can think already about it. It's very important for policy, for example, right? Business we said, but also policy. So let's now go back to Blackboard and let's go here, see what you have to do. So when you go to assignments, you will find that there is the usual week 4 connect assignments. You do that, and how do I go back here? Sorry, there's something here weird. Like, how do I go back to this one? Let me close and restart. But you can see the usual connect assignments. And then you have, when you go back to coursework, no, wrong one. Again, sorry. I don't know what's happening here. Let me go again. Micro. Because I have the thing plugged over and I cannot access the thing that I want. Okay, now I still don't do, but soon I will. Okay, so here you go again to coursework. You go down to week 4. And week 4 will have this folders that you see. When you go again to readings, you see there are different articles. Okay, there's a video you want to watch because the video is very helpful to understand what is elasticity. But here you have several articles. One is called iTunes price change. Okay, another one is tobacco elasticity, and then there are use of plastic bottles. But really the one you want to use is iTunes price changes, and I'll show you in a moment the discussion board. But the iTunes price changes article is this one, and it talks about from 2009. I don't know if any of you are young enough to remember iTunes. iTunes was the thing from Apple that you could download music and you had to pay for songs. So if you downloaded a song and you could keep it, it would cost us a amount of money. And usually every song at first cost 99 cents, say $1. Then iTunes decided to raise the price for some songs and lower the price from other songs. And they went from $1.99 to $1.29, say $1.30. So there was about 30% price increase. Then you have an experiment when you can see the same songs bought one week and the other, same songs, more or less new songs, that's what they increased the price of, what happened to the consumption. And so we can see here, the article says that in aggregate, 33 songs that are price increases were the songs that were the most popular, and the price went up 30%, percentage change in price 30%. They sold 12.5% fewer in units. So if you apply the formula, percentage change in quantity or percentage change in price, you have the value here is 12.5% divided by 30%. It gets you to about 0.4. Means less than 1 is negative 0.4. You take the absolute value, 0.4 less than 1. That means inelastic. That means although the price went up 30%, only few less songs were sold, and that means it's inelastic. That means it was a good decision for them because now they lost, yes, some songs, but not as many as how much they increased in price. So they ended up making more in terms of revenue, and you can easily calculate that. So for the discussion board, this article talks about different songs. You can see here, there's a list of songs. There is Stanky Legs down here. And I don't know if you remember Stanky Legs, I think it was popular some years ago. And then here it tells you how much the change in units were sold from before and after. So before, in the previous 2 weeks, they sold this. You can do an average of this too. And that's what it was sold before. And so you can see for the price increase, you can calculate, for example, the elasticity of Stanky Leg. So what you have to do for the discussion board, let me go back here. When you go to assignments, you want to take, again, I don't know why they don't have a thread, but you're going to create a thread, the thing will be here. So you want to take the iTunes price change, pick a song that has values for how many songs were sold before the price increase and after, and calculate the elasticity of the song. So you can find if the song is elastic or inelastic, and then you can discuss why you think the song is elastic or inelastic. Now, I will accept even if you take the tobacco elasticity article, because the tobacco elasticity article also mentions how much cigarette consumption changed when price of cigarettes changed when they put a tax. And so they have a sentence where they discuss that, and you can calculate that. But you can, whenever you have a change in price from one price to another, and you know how many units were sold before and after the change in price, with everything else being the same, you can calculate this elasticity. And so for the discussion board, I want you to actually go into the article, discuss this price change, calculate the price change, the price change, calculate the quantity change, calculate the elasticity, and then tell me about this, why is it elastic, inelastic, and why do you think that's the case, right? And so you might see that some songs, they changed and they were very inelastic, meaning people still bought them. And in some other songs, maybe they were elastic. So people really didn't buy them anymore when the price changed, right? And so maybe there might be reasons for that. You want to think about this possibilities. Okay, so that's what's due this week. It's a very important chapter, not only because it's economics that you take for the class and take the quizzes, but also in your life. It's important to think the amount of the reaction. It's not only people react, but how much, right? I'll give you a last example. If you think about crime, and if you say, well, crime is a problem, how much will it change if I double the fines, right? If I have a lot of speeding that creates accidents in a specific area, if I double the fine for speedings, how much will it change the people that speed, right? Stuff like that. Okay, so this is what is due this week. Again, if you have any questions, let me know and send me an email. And now I will see you next week unless you have some question. Again, if you want me to address specific problems, send me an email and I can make a short video addressing that problem if you need help with something specific. Okay? So good luck this week and I'll see you soon. Bye.